Hello and welcome to Hlspwns world. This evening I'm hunkered down next to my PC. This is my Ryzen 1700X build that actually enables me to bring you this channel. If you've been watching my previous videos, you know that for some time I've been chasing that holy grail of a BIOS. I'm after better stability in the system, better startup and boot up experiences, and that holy grail of 3200 MHz on the RAM. Now, some point in the past I have ran 3200 MHz on the RAM, but continuing BIOS updates have then reduced that RAM speed. Something I have noticed with my system, and I noticed this I actually got my system last year in April, and towards the winter time, going into the October-November months, I had a lot of cold boot issues, and that has returned this year, and I hadn't updated the BIOS on my system for quite some time, to be fair. And so I decided that I was going to do a video on the startup issues and seeing if I could get a different BIOS to resolve those issues. But actually, in filming this video, I think I started it Tuesday, I thought I've gone on a mini journey, and I've actually found quite a bit of stuff out that I thought I'd actually just share with you guys. So when I bought my system, I bought the Corsair Vengeance 3200 RAM kit, and that is a CL16 kit. Now, when I initially bought this system, I was very much an early adapter, and I bought it when Ryzen launched, and I knew then that this was going to be the machine for me. But what I didn't know at the time was the Infinity fabric and how memory speed really is important to a Ryzen chip. Now, as people have found out further down the line, that if you have RAM with a Samsung B die, you've got a lot more chance of getting higher frequencies on the memory. If, like my RAM, as I've found out only this week, has got the SK Hynix RAM chips on, you're pretty much, maybe with the latest BIOS updates, going to reach the guaranteed memory speeds, but anything other than Samsung B die is not guaranteed. And there's still people out there to this day who can't get anywhere near the speeds of the RAM what it's supposed to be. Now, I've been quite lucky since day one. I think the lowest I've ever had this RAM run at, it is rated 3200 MHz, but lowest it's ever run is 2933. Since then, I've gone up and down. Now, a lot of you out there might say, well, why haven't I just not sold that RAM and got something with the Samsung B die in it? And I thought about it, but to be honest, the speeds difference that I've got from hitting 3200 is only a very small amount, and with the latest AGESA updates that are meant to be coming sometime in mid-November, I have heard that supposedly all types of memories should be able to hit their allocated speeds, and I'm not currently far off it. So anyway, in this journey that I've been on, I better explain basically what's happened. So I went on to the Asus ROG forums, and there has been a UEFI update build thread that's been going on forever. There was a very technical guy called Alma who used to work for Asus, who is technically brilliant, and he was building and working on the BIOSes at Asus. Now, Asus, in a lot of people's opinions, has gone downhill, and I was going to base this video initially saying, did I make the right choice in buying the Crosshair Hero 6 motherboard, the Crosshair 6 Hero, whatever you want to call it? Did I make a bad choice? I don't believe I did. It's still a very quality premium board. Yes, it doesn't have native DTS or 5.1 playback, because unless you run hack drivers, that's a bit disappointing. But generally, other than that, the board's good, it's solid. Yes, Ryzen the first generation has had first adopter issues, and as I mentioned, there has been cold boot problems. Now, I've never not been able to boot my system, and sometimes I just have to boot 2 or 3 times, hit the BIOS, exit without saving any changes, and my machine would boot up. Now, I went onto the Asus ROG forums. I'll just put them up on the screen there. You can quickly reference what I've been reading. And before Alma left Asus, he actually done one final BIOS, a beta BIOS that's not available on the Asus website at the moment. But if you go to his MediaFire download pages, you can download the BIOS. The BIOS that I have put on, and I just want to confirm the number, just so I don't get it wrong, is 6301. Now, since installing this BIOS, and I had some issues in doing this, I thought this was going to be a quick video. What I actually found, the BIOS that I was on would not let me update to BIOS 6301. I actually had to go to the Asus website, download their latest BIOS, which is, I think was 6201, and after installing that I could install 6301. But I went through lots of motions thinking my USB stick wasn't FAT32 and I'd actually got it in a different file system. None of that was the case. It was just the fact that every time I tried to install the BIOS from the EZ Updater, it just froze. But anyway, I resolved that by implementing a later BIOS from the Asus website. Then I could put on this beta BIOS. So in doing this, I've now got the RAM up to 2133 MHz. That is one step below 3200. I also tried all different sorts of overclocking, and I got the chip running at 4 GHz. I then got the chip running at 4.1 GHz. I've never gone that high with a chip before, but the voltage that I would be comfortable running it at daily, which would have been under 1.4 volts, it was not stable. Now, I'm fully aware with Ryzen that if you want to run 4 GHz plus, you are going to have to really put some voltage through the chip, depending on the chip and the silicon lottery, of course, but you're going to be running at least 1.4 to 1.45 volts. Now, as a daily driver, I've been running my system at 3.9 GHz across all cores with a voltage of 1.3 volts for some time. Now, obviously from 1.3 volts to 1.4 or 1.45, there is a huge difference, and there is a huge difference in heat. And for that 100 or 200 megahertz, I've decided that I'm just going to stick with 3.9. Now, perhaps I was a little naive in thinking that with the AG ESA updates, the AMD microcode, it would bring that much stability. I'll be able to clock this, like a ninja. And that's something else that I wanted to bring up. Something that in my journey I've realised in testing, that the CPU has taken massive performance hit. Now, we're well aware that there was the Spectre and Meltdown security flaws, and these have been patched through Windows updates. What I don't know is if these have been patched in the BIOS update I've put on. But certainly, in testing tonight and the other day, I realised that in Cineabench, I've lost at least 200 Cineabench mark points. And I'll show you that. I'll flip the videos up on screen in a minute. And also in 3D Mark, my physics scores are down and my overall scores are slightly below what I've had in the past. So I'm quite surprised really that although, and I haven't actually perhaps mentioned that, the latest BIOS update I've put on has massively improved the booting of the machine, it's upped my memory speed, the stability of the machine, I can just physically feel a difference. It's snappier, it's smoother, I don't get the jerkiness. It's improved everything, but with these security flaws on the chips, with this BIOS perhaps, and with the Windows updates, I've certainly took with this Ryzen chip a massive performance hit. If you've had experience of your Ryzen system slowing down, please sound off in the comments. If you understand why this has happened, is it spectre and meltdown as a result of that? Is it this beta BIOS that I've put on that's impacted performance? I don't think so, to be honest. But if you know why, please let me know in the comments. And thank you for watching. I am struggling to get the video production out lately. I've had a lot on, and I've been very time limited, but I certainly am interested in keeping the channel going, and I will get more and more videos out as soon as I can. Thank you for watching. Like as usual, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you pretty soon in some more videos. Thanks for watching.